Alright, YouTube, MCO40 here with
The Claw.
Brought to you by It Doesn't Hurt.
Oh, yes it does.
No, it doesn't.
When you touch it.
There's no fucking feelings in that thing.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Alright, so a lot of you guys have been requesting deck profiles, and we're going to be taking our time and going through the ones that you guys have been requesting. We're finally going to be doing our updated version of Oboro. We might profile Lugard. We're still not happy with where Lugard is.
No, I'm not. It still gets beat.
But we'll eventually get an update for you guys on that, for those of you that have been requesting it. So we're going to start here playing 4 copies of Oboro and 1 copy of Old Oboro.
Yeah, I still play this guy.
It's because of the rogue matchups, right?
Yeah, rogue and big hands. A lot of people ask me why I still play this because they're like, you can play 3 of the common guy, and yeah, that's true. I could play 3 of the common guy, but this is better because for 1, it's Shiranui. 2, this combos well with your stride, and if your opponent has a 10-card hand, most of your dominated units aren't getting through. So
yeah,
this is really good to eat your opponent's hand at 5 damage.
But just the aspect of being, like, the fact that this deck can multi-purpose against Rogue in the earlier stages of the round, and I mean literally any stride assister can get you into this by getting rid of this. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely something to consider when you're playing the deck, just because this and, what is it, the Cleaver.
Yep,
yeah.
Sukamakadora or whatever his name is.
We'll call him Mr. Suki.
Yeah, Mr. Suki.
Comes down for cleaving the hand. So this is probably your most appropriate lineup for going about the deck. 2 copies of this. Alternatively, if you want to cut this for another one of these, you can.
He's just broken. I mean, I don't know what more you want me to say about him. Giving something 3K is not really that big of a deal. Also, because the deck has changed a little bit and went into playing a different grade 2 that we'll get into that helps with this guy. But this 3K boost, making your opponent give something 3K, and if it's their only unit, you know, that dominated unit's going to attack for another number on top of its already made number. So, and then this gains 10K, and so it's 21K column by itself. So you don't ever need a booster. We never be boosting.
1 starter now?
Yep, just cut down to 1 starter. We were playing 2 in the old build, because back then we didn't have some of the units we have now. There's just better units. This is good, obviously, for that first initial push. Unfortunately, it gets popped. I mean, there's not much you can do. But you still dominate for 4K. So instead of dominating for 7, you dominate for 4.
Just to ensure the extra large numbers.
Yep.
Alright, grade 2s. 2? What is this guy?
I like how we went from... Oh, okay, 3's 2. Okay. Okay, so this is the guy we changed. We went into him.
What the hell does this thing even do?
So this guy is, when he's placed, he chooses 2 of your rear guards, or 2 of your units, and then 1 of your opponent's units increases or decreases their power to make them 11K. So the really cool thing about this is, like I said, this combos well with the grade 2 or the grade 3, because if you are on your Murakuo, I can't even say his name.
This also is if you take your opponent's Suke, right? So you can negate the Suki's
I know,
effect.
Suki has a continuous effect, so this will increase or decrease it to 11, and then the continuous skill will decrease it by 2. So.
I know, but this thing also says when dominating attacks during this turn, you can discard a card, make that card lose its abilities.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this can get around Suki, which in our matchup of Suki versus this, we didn't realize, and I forgot about this. But this card actually just, it makes it so that when you dominate your unit, and you're on your one that's dominating the Vanguard, makes it so that that unit goes back down to 11 so you can clear your opponent's board. That's basically what it's used for. Plus you get a draw card.
This is another new addition for those of you that, oh no, this isn't.
No, we played this. Still 3 of this. I believe the original build played 3 of this, maybe 4 of this. But this card we just went to 3. Obviously he's your one that calls things for your Muujin Lord play if you're trying to push for game. That's all he does. This
is the new card.
Yes, new baby bear. This card is absolutely insanely broken.
So for those of you that don't know, this is the part of the segment where I get to read the card. So you get to bind 1 card from the top of your deck face down.
And it is a May.
Yep, so you don't have to.
Yep.
And then when a dominated unit attack hits during your turn, counter blast 1. If you do, choose 1 face down card from your bind zone. Add it to your hand, right?
Yep, you choose 1 of your face down bind cards and add it to your hand. Then
God, this counters Vanish Delete.
Yes. This actually does counter Vanish Delete, so when you get Vanish Delete, this is actually really cool. Because you actually can return your cards that you Banish Delete from your drop. So keeping this on board is crucial. But the good thing about this thing is it gains 10K. It comes with 19K by itself.
Yeah, so you don't have to...
I'm big.
It's 19 by itself. It passes over the threshold.
Yep.
And then 4 10Ks. But Tengi's are bad.
10Ks are not bad. Now, you guys, people are still playing Genkai. I understand that. But I have found out that in the mirror match, I hate Genkai. Because when Genkai attacks from my opponent, it is still a dominated unit, and you get to use its ability and counterblast, soul blast, and draw a card. For your opponent, they get to draw a card. So, at this point, I do not want to play Genkai. I will never go back to it. I think 10K bases are prevalent. With a lot of new support that are grade 2s that are 10Ks, I mean, I don't see why not.
You just want to ensure that you're not getting punished for no reason.
And you can rush 2 with those if you need to.
Ooh, this is spicy. This is spicy. What's this?
This is a couple things I've seen around with deck profiles running around, topping in Japan, and some here. This just applies early pressure. I mean, your opponent hits you for 2, and your hand is low because you did the 1 to pass and they hit a crit. I mean, this thing literally says, okay, cool, well, I'm going to drive check, and then I'm going to make you discard a card so that you're on the same playing board as me. Your hand is the same as mine, is basically essentially what it's saying.
Oh, crap, and this stays on the field, actually.
Yeah, this one stays on the field, so that's why it's better than the Tenri. And, I mean, it's a constant 7K booster. So they answer this, or they leave it on the board, and you just shove it behind your Vanguard. And that's usually where this needs to be shoved, not behind your rear guard.
And it's when it's hits, right?
Yep, when the boosted unit hits a Vanguard.
Huh, I'm used to my cards going into my soul for these kinds of effects.
Yep, nope, not that.
BTO1.
BTO1.
3 Stride Fighters?
Yeah, 3 Stride Fighters. We have a 4th that's common, I don't like it, so I'm not playing it. But no, 3 Stride Fighters, I mean, I don't ever see this being a problem. You never really have a problem with striding, and which I changed the trigger lineup, and you'll see why you don't really have a problem with striding. But 3 of them's fine. This just gets you to Oboro or the other one if you need it. Yee.
4 copies of this guy.
Oh, beautiful baby. So for anybody who doesn't know, it's bind up to 2 cards, but on place you have to declare how many you're binding. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to bind 2. Mostly I bind 1 with this. Binding 1 is just as good as binding 2. I don't really want to see my triggers go into the bind zone. So, yeah, that's why I kind of bind 1 at a time. And then, when a dominated unit attacks, you actually choose one of your face-down cards in your bind zone, you put it into your soul, and then this gets 5k. So it becomes 12k by itself. So technically this is a column by itself.
So what's the good thing about binding 2? Is there any?
There's none.
Just additional shots.
Just additional shots.
Alright, so this is over the dominating return.
Yeah, I have just been playtesting and playtesting and playtesting, and the thing about it is most of the time the dominating units, they're not going to hit because they're so low. Essentially, if the starter gets busted, you know, they're going to guard it, so, and then if they know you have 2 of the dominate PG down, they're going to guard it. The only time that thing's actually going to hit is when you're on the Mugen Lord, because they have 4 attacks.
But you should already be winning the game.
Yeah, and like Mugen Lord's your winning factor anyways. You go into Mugen Lord, you're either going to win or lose. So these are really good for just unflipping, and they're really good.
Triggers.
Yep.
Just 2 stands.
Went down to 2 stands, they recycled themselves, enough said. And you draw a card.
6 crits.
Yep, 6 crits. These are unflips, you have to play them. These go into the soul draw you card. You need draws.
4 draws.
Yes, went back up to 4 draws. Draws are really good. For one, the reason that I went back up to 4 is because you put these things in the soul and you can give your opponent's units power. That's the reason that they're so good. And hitting these off of your opponent's Vanguard swing is really, 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 really good. Because you can hit draw triggers, so essentially you're getting a triple drive off your opponent's Vanguard swing. So,
interesting.
I mean, it's really good. I went back up to that.
And a 4 heal trigger.
4 heal. They're good.
Alright. 2 copies of our homie.
Yeah, homie. I've seen a lot of people playing 3 of these. I mean, I can see...
Continuous board wipes.
Yeah, I can see why. And especially with Raccoon, you definitely have the soul. So I can definitely see 3, but 2 has been working out perfectly fine. I mean, I typically go into it if I G-guard first turn, but that's about it.
2 copies of Mugen Lord.
Mugen Lord, like I said, this is your win or lose. You go into this and you don't win, you typically lose.
4 copies of this is basically your first.
It's a freaking god card. This card powers up so powerful after G-guarding and just being ridiculous. I mean, 3k for each face up G unit is really good.
1 Seabreeze.
Usually win the game if you go into that. Hi, this is your combo with your other Shiranui, or just normal. Essentially on the new Shiranui, old Shiranui in this, and then the new Shiranui is basically the same thing, because you do this skill first, and then you dominate a unit, and so typically at 5 damage, you're doing the same thing you would be doing with the regular Shiranui. It's just Shiranui is another name, so. We went back to the GBA. I just felt like, since I do play the G guards for it, and I am playing 4 G guards, but I am playing the unflipped one again, so I just feel like GBA's got to be there. Deny me damage, and I'm going to come after a card in your hand. Cool, I'm an unflip. I do nothing. And this is broken because it dominates your opponent's unit, stands it, and puts it in the guard circle.
Any final comments?
The deck runs smoothly, guys. It's still there. So
Still trying to be relevant.
It's Venusaur.
Well,
But I will still play it.
So,
It's doing its best.
alright guys, that's all we got for you. Later.
Peace.
That's not all, card fighters. Please subscribe for more Cardfight Vanguard content. Please remember to check out imcol40 for Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and please check out imcolgames.com, my store, along with No Limit Gaming, NLGTCG.com for all of your guys' trading card game needs as well. Until next time, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. Later.